Hello, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023, and I am here at San Clemente Canyon, the old coastal canyons. I feel like driving all the way out to Timbuktu to go hiking this week, but did spend some time over hiking up Soledad. Do another video for that. I'm just in here kind of just ambling, no goals, no hiking goal for the day. Just kind of poke around here on a very brilliant sunny day here in San Diego. Looks like a house finch in there, just obviously just poking around and enjoying the mellow vibes of the day. It's been a while since I've been in a coastal canyon. It's been since November since I was in one of these canyons. That was when I did East Shepherd's Canyon. Oh, yeah, got a decent amount of water in the canyon. It's so peaceful. Yeah, this is a royal willow right here, Salix lacceolipus, and it's already breaking bud. It's already got new leaves and blossoms on it. Basically, being here in a low elevation climate, winters are quite a bit warmer here, so expect trees to be leafing out earlier here than they do up in the mountains. But yeah, our poison oak is still pretty dormant here. Toxicodendron diversilobum. That's a poison oak twig. It's good to know what your poison oak looks like in all seasons, whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter, so you know how to avoid it. So I've been up this way. I've been up here several times as a kid, and a few times here as an adult. Like I said, this is really not a goal-oriented hike beyond the goal of getting some fresh air. Like I said, I did a hike up Soledad, and I wasn't ready to be done and go home yet, so enjoying a little more fun out here in the San Diego sun. I'm going kind of west along this trail here. I don't know if I've ever gone along this trail this way. I've gone along it that way, which I found a Monterey cypress tree, which is along this trail but further down to the east. So I'm going to the west just to see this coastal sage scrub here, catch the fresh air of this portion of the canyon. Oh, an olive tree. Yeah, you get these sometimes rogue olive trees. Yeah, a nice one. Sometimes these will establish in the wild, and you'll get to see them. Sometimes popping up in our parks. Oh, I wonder where this goes. Some random use trails around here. Oh, yeah. Gonna go right into a thicket of poison oak. Yeah, No. It goes around, but 52 is right up there. I never really poked around this part. As you can see, the north rim of San Clemente Canyon is a lot gentler, a lot more gently sloped, and a little bit lower than the south rim of the canyon. You can see the south rim of the canyon is a little more dramatic looking. Oh. Okay. Look at this lemonade sumac. Oh, this is a beauty. Oh, this is a nice one. Look at that. Oh, it's got a wood rat nest in there too. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Rus integrifolia. Yeah, I always find really cool specimens of these. Why? It's not because I'm particularly skilled at finding them. It's because they're everywhere. It's a cool species, so what can I say? You can tell those two trunks right there split. You can see they split. It used to be one trunk, but it split. And it just continued growing as such. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep growing. That is a beautiful specimen. I love this shrub so much. I love gawking at these all the time, especially when they get large and stuff like that. But we'll see what other kind of things I find as I kind of amble my way along this for a few minutes. Let's see what else there is. So peaceful here. Big, beautiful California sycamore. Pretty decent sized one here. Okay. Ooh. It's poison oak right here. Very verdant here. Like I said, there is a bunch of poison oak here. But yeah, look at this sycamore. It's a nice big one. Nice, beautiful sycamore tree. Platanus racemosa. Pretty nice looking tree. Wow. Yeah, it's so peaceful here. I can see a lot of this stuff here is royal willow, Salix lacteolipus, and they start budding out very early. It's one of our earliest species to start budding out. Again, it's not even the middle of February yet. Well, here's a Brazilian pepper tree right here. Some little Scinis terebinthifolius. Trying to see if I see any signs of life in that water, and I do see some mosquito fish. Swimming around in there. Not very surprising, but despite the fact that they're not native, it's nice to see life in the water. Yeah, right here, there's a whole tail. There's a young coast live oak that looks like it's been ravaged or something. Now this right here, it's a whole dead snag of a sycamore here. And these are all, I'm assuming these are all part of the same tree. However, the whole thing's not dead. These right here, these are sycamore twigs. These are resprouts. So these things will, a lot of times the tops of them will die after maybe old age or whatever, and then they'll resprout from their base. Some of them will resprout from their base right after fire, after mechanical damage, if they have enough of a root system in there. The sycamore trees are a lot more resilient than you might think. Yeah, here it is, royal willow, Salix lasiolipus. I can see the buds are starting to, the leaf buds are already starting to swell on them. Some of them are already blooming. So unfortunately, some of these younger oaks here are not doing well either. Like this oak right here is gone. It's not a deciduous oak. It's a live oak, a coast live oak, Quercus agrifolia, Verde agrifolia. Even these younger ones here, this is kind of heart-wrenching. It's kind of sad to see. Well, not kind of. It's extremely sad to see. There we go. Oxalis pescoperi, Bermuda buttercup. And it is not a member of the buttercup family, the Ranunculaceae. Look at the leaves on them, the three leaflets. Kind of look like a shamrock. There's a reason why it looks like a shamrock. It's related to the shamrock. This is in the Oxalidaceae family, the Oxalis family, shamrock family. So this is not related to the Ranunculaceae, the buttercup family, the true buttercups. But they flower here in the winter, early spring, and then the leaves and flowers and everything die back to the roots. These little bulbs, little tiny bulbs in the soil that resprout whenever the rainy season comes back. That's how they deal with drought, is by being drought deciduous or drought dormant. So right now they're vibrant. We've had some pretty good rains, some pretty gosh darn good rains this year. So up till now, so we're doing pretty good, and plants are responding very lusciously. Here's another sycamore resprout right here. Sometimes they just resprout from their bases, and sometimes they'll make like miniature thickets. Yeah, this is a California sycamore right here, Platanus racemosa. Here's a trunk of a younger one here. And then here's your need to avoid. Like that one, was it Herman's Hermits in the mid-60s had a song called She's a Must to Avoid. She's a must to avoid. She's a must to avoid. So is that. Oh, actually, you see this plant right here? That's a poison oak vine. You can actually see it's kind of gray furrowed bark. This is actually a poison oak vine right here, growing all up in this coast live oak right here. That right there, that's poison oak. Occasionally sometimes you'll see some pretty thick stems on poison oaks when they're growing quite lusciously, which they do in this canyon. Now, being that I always talk about avoiding it and staying away, stay away. If you look at it from a little bit of a distance, I mean, it's a plant that is beautiful in its own right. Here we go again. Here's another one. That right there, that's a poison oak vine. See, and here in the woods, they tend to grow as vines. They grow more like vines. They'll crawl up trees and sprawl over everything like brambles. But in the more open spaces, in the edges of woodlands, in the drier edges of woodlands, they become more shrub-like. And out in the chaparral, they're typically more shrubs. And when they're more exposed, they're much more upright. And they can get quite tall. They can get over your head, poison oak bushes. I've seen them like 8, almost 10 feet tall before, so. So I'm not here to spew hate about poison oak. I'm just here to spew awareness, because I don't hate it. I just want to avoid it because I don't want to touch it. I appreciate it like I appreciate plants. Maybe I appreciate it a little bit less than I should. But look at this. I love when this creek is flowing. Beautiful. Nice to see water. Alright. We'll see you on the next stretch. Alright. Checking out this water here. I love being around water features. It's refreshing just to look at the water. It's even cooler when you see things swimming in it, because I love looking at the wildlife, but just like looking at the water and hearing it trickle and cascade. It's such a satisfying sound. That's why people like waterfalls. But I just like looking at water. Just enjoy being around it. Don't really see any life popping off in here. I don't see any animals. But they're just so cool. So if you walk across a footbridge, just a fair warning. So when you want to cross this bridge, don't come directly down this, because to get to this bridge, you're gonna be hopping over a thicket of poison oak right here. So if you're gonna take this bridge, come at it from the side. The side is a little steep right there anyways. Just a fair warning. Sorry for saying like there's a glitch in the video. I had to switch to another memory card because I ran out of memory. I already filmed a full video hike earlier today. Full video hike and a spotlight video. So, already used up the memory from that card. So, let's go wind our way out of here and see some other cool stuff. You know what? Even when I was a kid, and it still reigns true today, I always get jealous of the people who live at the edge of a canyon rim. I always get jealous. I still do. Because they're right above all this awesomeness. So, I was talking about arroyo willows earlier. Here's a nice little plain of arroyo willow right here. Ooh, a red-tailed hawk. Ooh, beautiful. But yeah, here's a nice, decent thicket of Salix lasiolipus. It's all pure stand, almost pure stand, of arroyo willows. Of course, punctuated by this one lonely California sycamore right here. Beautiful little sycamore tree. I know I pointed this out before in other videos. But yeah, these willows right here are already starting to get their blooms. Trying to see, is this a male or a female? Because arroyo willows are dioecious. Male flowers are on separate plants from female flowers. So the term is dioecious, which literally means two homes in Greek. D, two, and oikos, which is home in Greek. Going back to the ancient Greek. But yeah, looking at this one here, trying to see if this is a male flower or a female flower. It looks like a female flower. I think I see the stigma on there. Because the yellow flowers, if you look carefully, you can kind of tell what the male flowers look like. Here's a male flower. This, you can see the little yellow specks in there. That's the pollen. That's the pollen from the anthers of the male arroyo willow. So this isn't all one single clone, apparently. Because again, they're dioecious. Male plants and female plants. separate, not male and female. They're not hermaphroditic like a lot of plants are. So yeah, this one's a female. So this one will have the seed capsules that bear the little fluffy cottonwood-like seeds. And the fluffy cottonwood seeds are an indication of its relation to cottonwoods and poplars and aspens in the genus Populus. Willows and poplars are in the willow family, the Silicaceae. So this is a male. This is a male right here. This is a male catkin. This is a flower structure of a kind of an elongated inflorescence with lots of little flowers attached to it. This is called a catkin. So there you have it. Royal willow, Salix lanceolipus. Males and females are separate. So if you see fully open, fully formed flowers that are open on these willows, look to see if there are pollen grains, yellow pollen grains on them. Then you'll know you're looking at a male. If not, you might see some little white things at the tip of the individual flowers. You're probably looking at a female. I always enjoy, one thing about enjoy this is, ooh, I enjoy this big wall of sage scrub right here. Artemisia californica, the California sagebrush, with its camphor-like beautiful aroma. And then, of course, we got the Bacchus. Most of this is coyote brush here. Bacchus pilaris, subspecies consanguinea. And then, right out here underneath, in the shade of this big coyote brush right here, is a fuchsia-flowered gooseberry. This is Ribes speciosum. Ribes speciosum. No flowers on it yet. I was thinking they'd be flowering by now. I was hoping they would be, because I'm really wanting to spotlight this one, but I want to wait till it gets flowered, at least flowers on it. Preferably one with flowers and developing fruit, so I can show both at the same time. But it's pretty cool. The flowers they look like little tiny fuchsia flowers. That's why they call it fuchsia flower gooseberry. And the name speciosum is Latin for showy, elegant, beautiful, exuberant. So, one thing I like about this part of the trail here is our beautiful California sagebrushes that have responded extremely well to the rain by leafing out lusciously. So, I love being around these because they smell so great, and I just have a lot of good memories with them. Over here, that looks like a San Diego marsh elder, Eva haziana. Looks like a San Diego marsh elder. That's a relatively endemic plant here in southwestern California, especially here in San Diego County. Might be a few vouchers from Orange, maybe Los Angeles County, but for the most part, San Diego County. Yeah, it looks like a San Diego marsh elder. I very rarely come across that one. But again, this is nearly a pure stand of California sagebrush. That's one thing I love about this part of the trail. And I'm in the Regents Road. Regents Road entrance is right over there. Now here's a nice Salix lanceolipus. So this area must have underground water. I see bees flying around it. I'm trying to see. This appears to be a female. That's a female, I believe. So maybe it's getting pollinated by the bees buzzing it. But I do see bees flocking around the arroyo willows too. But I think they're predominantly wind pollinated, but the bees love them anyways. There's a fuchsia flower gooseberry and some bloom. But it's a little far from the trail to see. See if I can find one that's closer at hand. I'll see you down the way. So I'm going down this trail, coming across a lot of California sagebrush right here, Artemisia californica. So again, this is a very abundant plant here, as you can see. very thready, needly foliage. Now, this is one of his close relatives right here. This is Palmer sagewort right here, Artemisia palmeri. So you can see they're kind of closely related by kind of the shape of the foliage, but this one has less of a woody base, maybe at the very base of it. It's more herbaceous, and this plant is quite herbaceous too, California sagebrush, but it's woodier at the base. The Palmer sagewort has similarly shaped leaves, but much larger leaves. So quite interesting. So yeah, it's part of why I love this, is you can compare and contrast California sagebrush with Palmer sagewort and get a good idea of what you're looking at. Of course, more coyote brush. So I'm hoping to maybe find another spotlight opportunity today. Here's another royal willow here. And this one is a female. So I can tell, I'm looking at the shape of the female flowers, and they're shaped like the seed capsules that they're going to develop into once they're fertilized. Kind of narrow, and eventually they'll turn into these seed capsules that'll split open at the end and release the cottony seeds. So I thought I could tell the males will have little hints of yellow from all the pollen, and the females won't have that. So you can see the willows are already breaking bud. Already breaking bud. They do that very early here. And if you go up to the San Gabriel Mountains, the San Bernardino Mountains, where royal willow is very common as well in canyon drainages and floodplains up in the higher mountains, they'll be dormant a lot later because of the colder weather that occurs up there. They won't break bud until sometime in April, probably. Still a little bit earlier than the other trees and shrubs up there. Here we got a male royal willow here, and yeah, their catkins kind of have a yellowish hue to them, even when viewed from a distance. Look at this one here. You can tell it's full of pollen. So that's how we know we got a male royal willow right there. And that's the trail that goes up towards Biltmore Street. That's the Biltmore Trail over there. I don't know if I'm going to take that today. I might. Now, look at the base of this old, beautiful sycamore here. Beautiful Platanus racemosa. We're looking at the base of it, and we see a thicket of leafless shrubs and vines. That's your poison oak. Still, looks like it's still dormant. It hasn't broken bud yet. The ones, it's weird. Poison oak plants run on different schedules, it seems. The ones that grow in more wooded areas keep moisture longer, so they stay green later into fall. They shed their leaves and then leaf out later, towards later in the year. The ones out in the chaparral and sage scrub sometimes leaf out earlier because they're taking advantage of the winter rains, as it is a much drier environment than underneath these big sycamore trees, which are very leafy and shady during the summer months. So poison oak that's out in the chaparral and sage scrub will lose its leaves a lot of times during the later summer months, and then leaf out earlier, like in February. Leaf out early because the soil's wet, and it won't stay that way for long when you're on a more exposed section of where its habitat. So again, the ones that are, so a lot of times you'll be hiking in the summertime and you'll be in a more exposed hillside, and you'll see a bunch of poison oak in the middle of summer with a lot of red in its leaves. It's already starting to change color, even though it's only July or August. Whereas the poison oak plants that are in the shadier woodlands tend to start coloring more towards when you would expect, which is autumn. But even then, with them, a lot of them start changing a little bit earlier, and they shed their leaves a little bit earlier. So Sometimes even September is a good time to see them in fall color in some spots, and whereas other ones, mostly October. October is a good month to see poison oak leaves if you want to see the leaf change color. We're going to come up on a huge poison oak thicket. Right over here. I'm wondering if this is genetically one set, one organism. I'm wondering if this right here. It's a very nice thicket of it. Beautiful thicket, actually. Coming by this in October must be a real sight. Yeah, this is your poison oak. Very large thicket of it right here. And again, sometimes you just got to show love to that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's these beautiful sycamore trees. I just love the way they look in winter too. Now a lot of these trees will leaf out early too. Sycamore trees are known to leaf out quite early. Sometimes they'll start leafing out. Some places I've even seen them leafing out as early as January after they just barely finish dropping their leaves. And then some of them won't leaf out till about a month later. So a lot of times later February. But sometimes I think these trees, so a lot of these trees I think stay, these ones down here, I think some of them stay dormant a little bit later. So I've been here in late February where these trees were still pretty dormant. So some of these ones might leaf out more towards March. But California sycamore trees are usually very early to leaf out as well. On the opposite side, there's another type of sycamore that they plant out here called American sycamore, which is native to the eastern half of the U.S. They stay dormant much later. They're one of the later trees out here that start leafing out. They plant them out here in California a lot, and they won't leaf out until April usually. Especially in cooler winters, they won't leaf out until April. So yeah, American sycamores can be very late to leaf out. They're later than most other trees that you'll see out here. I just love looking at our sycamore trees. They're just so peaceful and beautiful to look at. And yeah, I think they have a very pleasing silhouette, whether they're real green and leafy with these huge palmate-shaped leaves in the summer, or they're dusky orangish brown during the late fall, leafless in the winter, or starting to get that bright green sheen of new spring foliage. So California sycamore definitely just exudes natural beauty. Look at that. Look at that twig. It's just micro details, the macro details. These are just cool trees. I can never get enough of them. What can I say? I love my broadleaf deciduous trees. And I got some more beautiful arroyo willow thickets. So this video is really not much about me trying to find a spot to go hike and come up with a goal of climbing up this hill or whatever. Sometimes you just want to wander about and just appreciate all of what's around you. And today I'm feeling like this area is it right here. I love trees, period. You know me. I'm addicted to trees and plants, shrubs, herbaceous plants. I love plants, period. And I do sometimes tend to favor the woody plants, like the shrubs and the trees and the woody vines. I don't know, something about woody plants just really gets to me. I love woody plants. Lianas, aka vines, shrubs and trees really do it to me the most. But, you know, I mean, I love plants, period. sometimes the macro vegetation, like the big trees and shrubs, just really get me excited. Then there are times when a lot of the more herbaceous plants are in bloom. They're fully in bloom. They're covering everything. And you just got to stop by and take time to appreciate them. That's why going towards spring, probably going to be seeing a lot more spotlight videos and probably more herbaceous plant spotlight videos. So be prepared probably for more herbaceous plant spotlight videos coming in the upcoming months. But yeah, it's just all these little waterways, all this little creek down here. A lot of times, most of the year, it's just random puddles of water in the lowest lying areas that don't dry up as quickly. Seems like the more continuous portion of this runs on the other side of the sandbar over here. You can see water actually flowing. I'd expected to see a little bit more water flowing right now. But especially after the good rains we've had. But yeah. Sometimes you just want to take time to appreciate what's out ahead of you. You don't want to worry about trying to get to a trailhead early and climbing up a mountain. I already did my mountain climb / hiking video. Now I just want to do some relaxing videos on this glorious early afternoon here in February. Just enjoying these coastal canyons. I think I'm just going to go a little bit further, look at a few more things, and then probably start heading back. I don't know if I'm going to go anywhere else, but sometimes just a nice, easy walk in the woods is what is needed. For the last few days at work, I've been really busting out hard. Working really hard, trying to work super fast at getting stuff done. So sometimes my nearly weekly outing doesn't have to be a rigid mountain climb. Who knows, next week maybe. There might be some rain next week, but we'll see. Ever since we entered February, it's been very dry. So we've kind of needed a little bit of time to dry out because it's been pretty wet. Ooh, here we go. California bramble, or California blackberry growing down here. And that's this guy here. Looks like poison oak. It's got 3 leaflets on it. But no, it's got little prickles on it. It's in the rose family. It's Rubus ursinus. We head up into this oak woodland that's still kind of surviving. Some of these oaks are in pretty rough shape. There's southern honeysuckle. I don't know why, it's always hard for me to get a good view of southern honeysuckle. This is it right here. Lonicera subspicata variety denudata. And looking out for poison oak right here, so I'm gonna kind of stay in the middle of the trail there. Hey, here's a nice old oak right here. Still hanging on, but I can tell this oak's in very rough shape. Kind of sad. Still here, but I don't suspect that this oak will be around much longer, unfortunately. This one I'm not too worried about. This one will be around for a while. Even here in the middle of the deep woodlands, we're getting these lemonade sumacs, Rus integrifolias. You know what I mean? Whenever I see it, I have to talk about it. It's just part of my nature. Let me just move down a little bit further. Maybe shoot a few photos, a few stills, and we'll see where I end up, and we'll see what's up. don't think I've been down this way in a very long time. Very long time. Probably many years since I've been down this far between Regents Road and Genesee. Oh, wow. I think it's been since might have been since I was a kid since I went along this stretch this far down. Well, look at this beautiful toyon right here. Yeah, as I was walking by, checking out the toyons, there's some toyons growing with these coast live oaks. Noticing, just thinking to myself, we are so lucky to have that species growing here. Heteromeles arbudifolia. It's a member of the rose family, the Rosaceae. It can be a very large shrub, and then they produce these really small, but nice panicles of showy white flowers in late spring and early summer. And then by fall, they develop into these little fleshy red pomes that just look so cheerful, and they're just absolutely brilliantly scarlet colored when they're fully ripened. I'm just realizing, I don't think I've been down this way since I was a kid. I might take the high road this time. There's a lot of beauty to this canyon. So now we're climbing the hill. Probably the oaks will probably start looking a little drier. Not as healthy as the ones in the canyon bottom, which is a shame. So I remember when I was a kid, the oaks even on the hillside above the canyon were thick, dense, and verdant back in the late 80s, early 90s when I was a kid. Now to see them struggling is so heart-wrenching. Kind of hurts to see it. Unfortunately, it is what we got to live with. It's very heart-wrenching. Remember, as a kid, you're walking through these wooded areas, everything's so green, and even in the driest summer conditions, a lot of these trees are verdant and casting all the shade. You think to yourself, wow, how did it get to this? How? Could be that despite these trees being pretty drought hardy, comes a time when there's only so much you can take. It's pretty sad. Like I said, you can't really blame the plants. Eventually, it just gets to the point where they feel weakened. They tried so long, but eventually they get weakened, and eventually they feel like they can't cope. And that's what goes along with a drying climate. These woodlands are going to become a lot less prevalent, which again kind of leaves a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach as I talk about it. But unfortunately, being aware of your environment also means being aware of the sad things that happen as well as the good things. So unfortunately, me blogging about my travels and my hikes, I do feel that I do need to discuss reality too, because it's something that all of us will face. We see our favorite large ancient coast live oak dying off because of ridiculous amounts of drought after drought after drought after drought, or sudden oak death, gold-spotted borer beetles. So here's a nice one right here. Much enough for poison oak. Here's a nice old oak. Oh, here's a nice old one right here. Oh, wow. This is a beauty. Oh, wow. Look at this one. It seems like every time I come to these canyons, I find another old one. Well, this is another old one, all right. Wow, what an amazing old tree. This one's still in pretty good health, too, relatively speaking. It may not be as vigorous as a lot of the younger trees here, but This is incredible. Just a short little trip from the main trail. I kind of saw this out of the side of my eye. I was thinking to myself, ooh, it might be a nice old one. Well, this one is still alive and still doing pretty well. So let's be appreciative of the old ones we still have left while we have them. This is a very beautiful oak. This is a beautiful coast live oak right here. Again, this is Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia. Look at the limbs. The limbs themselves are enough to be large trees in their own. This is an absolute breathtakingly beautiful tree. I am just mesmerized by this one. Oh, whew. Almost basically get goosebumps thinking about this tree. This is amazing. Look at the trunk on this. And look at that big burl right there. Sometimes they can resprout from those. Oh, wow. Oh, what a beautiful tree. Oh, man. You see why coast live oak is pretty much as representative of California as is the coast redwood and giant sequoia. I mean, just look at this. This is an oldie. But I'll tell you, it's a goodie. Absolutely gorgeous coast live oak right here. I cannot get enough of staring at this tree. It's not a very tall tree. It's probably only about 35 feet tall. But I'll tell you, those trunks. Oh, those trunks are so huge. I love when oak trees get like this. I love old oaks. You just can't, well, I think a lot of you probably could imagine how awesome the feeling is when you come across one of these old trees. It's just a feeling of awe, feeling of wonder. How long this thing's been here. This is probably hundreds of years old. I'm just mesmerized by the size of the trunk of this tree. And just the size of the branches, the low branches. Let me get a few pictures of this tree. So I'm starting on my way back. That's the trail I came down before ending over there. Now I'm going to go take this fork. Just enjoy some more scenery here. Oh, those beautiful willow trees. Those are nice sized black willows that grew. I mean, no, actually, no. I don't know if I've seen any black willows down. Or the Goodings black willows. These are basically all red willows and lots of arroyo willows. Here's a huge poison oak bush right here. There's a nice thicket of it right here. That's a beauty. That's a nice sized thicket right there. And there's an acorn woodpecker, I think, in the sycamore tree. I can hear it. Yeah, that's an acorn woodpecker somewhere. Making that guttural sound. Try to see if I can see where it is. It's gotta be up in this set of sycamore trees right here. I can hear it, but I don't see it. I see another smaller bird. I see a couple of different birds, but they're not acorn woodpeckers. So a lot of birds are chilling in this tree right now. Pretty cool. A smaller bird there. There it is. There's the acorn woodpecker right there. Right there. That's the acorn woodpecker right there. That's the one that's making that sound. There you go. Melanerpes formicivorus, the acorn woodpecker. I don't always have the best luck at, or maybe the best skill yet of getting wildlife captures. Probably need a more sophisticated camera to do that. Here we are. At least these coast live oaks here seem to be faring a lot better. Once you start getting up on the hillside, yeah, they're really in rough shape. What a cool canyon this is. Looks like I'll have to cross the water over here. We can hear woodpeckers starting to get all raucous up in the trees. I can see them climbing up. That sycamore tree right there, you can see them climbing. Well, I can see them. Camera won't pick it up too well. Again, look at that water. It's good to see water here in San Diego. Water is a lifeline for living organisms. So I might go back up and meet up with that trail. I don't feel like crossing and getting my feet wet. These are not really waterproof shoes. Wow. So cool. I just love seeing water. I love when it tumbles down like that. I'll tell you one thing. Being out in the woods, out in the woods, out in the chaparral, sage scrub, out in deep forest, or even in desert, depending on your personal taste, has a very healing power. And it's not from specific stuff, not from taking drugs or pills or getting drunk. It's just the pure experience, the fresh air. It's a big mood lifter. I just love how this grass is all emerald green. I know this is basically all invasive, non-native grasses. I gotta admit though, it does look pretty nice when it greens up. Okay, so this is that old oak tree that I passed by when I was along that stretch of the trail there. I'm gonna use this little side trail to get there. Yeah, this one used to be a big tree. Oh man, this used to be a monster. I think the other one had a bigger trunk though. But again, sometimes the limbs on these oaks are as wide as their main trunk base. Sometimes their branches get their lower branches get a little exaggerated. It's probably a way for them to become stronger and help themselves anchor against wind. Wind can wreak a lot of havoc on these heavy-limbed oak trees, but sometimes they produce these buttressed branches that sometimes are at least as wide as the main trunk base to try to harden themselves up, stiffen themselves up against insane wind. And here's the old oak tree. This beautiful tree again. What a beautiful tree. Can't get over this one. This one will put shivers down your back if you're so inclined, interested in trees like I am. It's the type of stuff that'll literally send a shiver down your back. I think it came from that way, so let's take the low road. Let's vary the scenery up on my return. I'm planning on filming for a little while more before I get back. That's because I wanted to start heading back. Didn't mean I want to put the camera away yet. A beautiful place this is. Wow. It's just sad to see some of these beautiful old oaks, and I'm sure the kumei excuse me, kumei probably gather acorns under these trees every October and November. If they were to come back and see it today, they would probably be extremely depressed. Well, we still get some. There's a nice giant. Well, is it still technically alive? Oh no, it's a toyon growing right there. Yeah, that's a toyon growing out of it. I was thinking maybe it resprouted. Well, that's a toyon right there growing out of that tree trunk. Or right next to it. It used to be a large coast live oak. This used to be a huge one too. Again, it's really sad to see him go. I was saying before the camera cut out again, every time I get to 8 minutes, about 8 minutes, this thing shuts off on me. Still don't know why it does that. My other camera would shut off at 20 minutes. Look at these younger live oaks right here. These are nice ones. This is where it splits going up the higher side. So now I'm back on the main path. Yeah, beautiful sycamore woodlands right here. Look at that. Yeah, beautiful trees. There's some younger oaks here too. I'm hoping gonna pave the way for some healthy trees down the road. Yeah, look at this monster sycamore right here. That's a big tree. Wow. That's a huge California sycamore right there. That's amazing. That's an amazingly big tree. Love when they get like that. It is so satisfying to look at them when they get big like that. I don't see any extremely large trunks in there either. But I do see, I think it's pretty girthy towards the base. It's got some height to it too. There's a whole Eucalyptus commodulensis growing in there. River red gum. Wow. So what I've noticed though, another thing that's kind of disturbed me a little bit is the condition a lot of the toyon bushes are in. You see they're kind of a little raggedy and very sparse. This one's not too bad. This one's not too bad. And I don't mean it as anything against the plant itself. But I've been noticing that some of the actually over here it looks pretty rough. Some of the toyons are in pretty rough shape too. I'm wondering what's going on with them. 'Cause that would be an even more devastating loss. Even these slightly younger ones are a little sparse and they got dead branch tips on them. I'm wondering what's going on. I might have to do a little research into this. I've been noticing, especially here in San Diego County, I've been noticing a lot of toyons are looking pretty rough and beat up. I wonder if something similar to what's getting the oaks to decline. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to start researching. I tried figuring out why a lot of the sugar bushes or sugar sumacs in the Santa Ana Mountains were looking really rough. And then, as I've noticed driving up in the Santa Ana Mountains, almost a lot of them they have these dead branch tips on them. They're still alive, but they have a lot of dead branch tissue. Almost looks like they got burnt or something. Not burnt, but some kind of blight or something. Couldn't find anything really to answer my question about that. I was kind of disappointed. But maybe I'll look and see what's going on with these these toyons too, because it's kind of worrying me too. I remember when I was a kid, these toyons were lush. They were luscious, full of pomes in the late fall and early winter. There's some toyons I've seen get massive too. Some toyons get humongous. As in terms of being a shrub, the toyon is technically more of a shrub than a tree. Like right here, here's a pretty big toyon right here actually. Or two toyons, I think. Pretty tall. They can get up to about 20 feet tall on occasion. But again, why are they looking so stressed? They're starting to look like they're coast live oak companions. And you know, wherever you see coast live oak, you're going to see toyon, pretty much. At least almost every single place I go, except for maybe grassland, savanna, oak woodland, where the oaks are extremely widely spaced apart. Most of the time, you see coast live oak, you're going to see toyon. They just grow they grow together a lot. They're constant companions in the woods. Which is pretty cool. I've always liked that. If you got coast live oaks, you got toyons. So whatever might be going on to cause the toyons to be stressed out, gotta do some research on that too. If I find out anything usable before I upload video, I'll try to put in some text to try to explain it, but I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I couldn't find really anything on the dieback of rusovata, sugar bush, or sugar sumac, especially like I saw in the Santa Ana Mountains. And I think I've seen it in LA County too, in the lower slopes of the San Gabriel Mountains. A lot of sugar sumacs they're still alive, but a lot of their branches look like they have blight or dieback or something. So if I can find out, maybe either I'll do a separate video, I can find some specimens like that, or I'll try to tag on some comments. Hopefully, I can find out what's going on with the toyons. Alright. Well, on my way back, I'll see you down the way for some last clips and bidding adieu. So I'm well on my way back. I'm about to hit the sagebrush patch of the Arroyo Willows pretty soon. Of course, there's my landmark there, that mesa top with all those beautiful Mexican fan palms, those Washingtonia robustas. All 7 of those beautiful palms growing up there. I don't know, that's kind of like a landmark. That's how you know you're getting close to Regents Road when you're heading back. Now there's the Biltmore Trail that heads up into the canyon going that way. Biltmore Trail is a cool little side trail that leads up to one of the Claremont neighborhood access points on Biltmore, which comes right here. It's not that far from where my elementary school was, which is over the mesa somewhere. It's Walt Whitman Elementary School. That's where I went from kindergarten through 6th grade. Whitman Elementary School. So you can walk to the elementary school by going up the trail, going up to Biltmore, and going to Appleton, turning left, heading down Appleton. You'll find it before you get to Cole Street. And that's where I went for K through 6. Up till about half a year before I moved to Orange County and lived in northwestern Anaheim. And I graduated from, or they say promoted from Whitman in June of 1994, 6th grade, and then entered what used to be Ray Kroc Middle School over on Conrad Avenue, eastern towards the east, near where the 805 is. And that was in fall of 94. And then I moved to Orange County in January of 95. Then I went to Dale Junior High School for the rest of my 7th grade. Then I went to Magnolia High School in Anaheim through my 4 years of high school. Went to Cypress College, nearby Cypress, in Orange County. Went there for a while. In 2004, moved to New Jersey for 8 years. 8.25 years. Moved back in early 2013. I've lived back here in California for 10 years now, since late January 2013. Of course, from 2013 to May 2022, I lived in OC. I was based in Orange County back then. Then I moved to San Diego County in May of 2022. So a few more months, I've been here for a year. Yep. Very interesting. So yep. I always use that as a landmark when I'm hiking. Like, well, I'm getting close to Regis Road when I see that person's property with all those beautiful palms growing. But yeah, so been around a few different places. But I've only lived in California and New Jersey. I've never lived in any other state. I've visited a couple of other states. Been in Arkansas. Really nice there, real beautiful. Near the foot of the Ozark Mountains. Up in the northwestern corner over by Fayetteville. Near Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville. Over there. Went there in late May and early June of 2017. I was there for a few days, and I can just imagine what it's like there in late October and early November. The fall color must be out of mind-blowing proportion. Out of proportionally awesome. Again, I been in Pennsylvania a couple times, and I've been in New York City once or twice. But yeah, I don't have a big travel thing, except all the times I've gone to different parts of California, like Santa Barbara County for hiking and nature videos and stuff like that, up to Lowry County in the Sierras. Hopefully, oh boy, I'm hoping to get some Sierra action this year. I didn't get any. Well, I got a little bit in 2022, foot of the Sierras, but hoping to maybe find some time to hit him up this year. Well, this is it for me. Back at the parking area, and I will see you on another adventure.